Yes, Jason, season 2 of uh, McDonald's and Dodds, I guess known in the UK as Invisible.
No, it was originally known as Invisible.
Oh,
And now it is full blown McDonald. It was always, I think, in development it was Invisible, and it's now McDonald and Dodds. Yeah, well, the first series was.
Well, here we are in the second season of McDonald and Dodds, and I've got to tell you, it's even more engaging than the first season. I love it. I very rarely sit down and watch 3, hour and 20-minute long things in a row, but I couldn't help myself. I love it. It's wonderful.
Oh, that's so good to hear. That's great to hear.
What to you makes a good detective story?
I think they're rather glorious puzzles, aren't they? And I think audiences want to solve the puzzle, and they want to solve a puzzle that involves interesting and surprising and difficult to read characters. So, and they like to be led and taken on a journey and guess all the time, all the way through. That's and for the spotlight to be turned on each character one after another. And I'm talking really properly about this light drama way of making these whodunits. I mean, that's what it is, and it's not a serious crime, but a drama like Line of Duty, for example. But it has all those ingredients about, they share the same thing about who did it and wanting to know who's done it sooner than anyone else in your household, often.
Yeah, and I'm afraid I couldn't guess in any of them. So, but I'm like good. That. I can't solve an Agatha Christie mystery if it starts up. So I'm a loser on that front. I've got to say that Dodds he has so many great qualities. First of all, he's healthy. But he's also reliable, intuitive, eccentric, which is always a joy. But I think what I like the most, and it's what you do, it's not necessarily in the writing, but it's what you do. He's endearing.
Yeah, he is endearing, and it's a wonderful thing to do, to play with as an actor, because I think I like him a lot on the page, and I like him when I play him, and I like the relationship he has with whoever he's talking to. I like shaping it and letting the other characters sort of how he reacts off them, and he is endearing. But the weird thing about endearing is you can't play endearing. It's difficult to play endearing, and you don't sort of want to. You just hope that happens. You hope it happens. I think he's got a very good heart. He's got a very good heart and a good soul, and he's aware of his own vulnerabilities, and he's not perfect. And I think that makes him endearing.
And he's in a business that is very upsetting, and yet he retains this spark, this almost innocence. I find when he came in from his medical exam and he's rushing by her desk and he hasn't taken his coat off, the look on his face that was endearing. And I don't know if you intended that, but that's the way it was.
Yeah, so. Well, we're all. I mean, there's a lot of Dodds in me, I suppose. Aren't we all sometimes very much bound up in our own dilemmas? And sometimes someone has to remind us that it's fine. But there's some people sometimes like, well, we go, oh my God, this is the end of the world. And it's that, isn't it? It's that we recognize in him some of the feelings that we have, and that's our job, isn't it, as actors?
Yeah. And we don't often feel a closeness with a detective character, like that warmth. And speaking of which, DCI McDonald, she's a very tough nut to crack. And she's gone from like generation shaming you to, just sort of brushing you off to being your fiercest protector and friend and true friend. And I love that, that tension and the outcome. Was that always meant to be?
I think it was something that grew, and it was something that I think it was meant to be. It was almost the first series we started that process off, and then as the series grew, we could see that happening more and more. And then in the second series, that's something that we have developed, I think, consciously and unconsciously. They both want to help each other, don't they? She's fighting her ground. She's fighting her territory. She's staking her claim to being in that white middle-aged man's world of a senior investigating officer, and she's all the opposite of those things. And so she's putting her staking a claim, and so that's why she was, I think, very direct. And she is direct with other people, which I think she's learning, as you say, she's learning about him and understanding how to use him in the process of deduction, but also as a friend. I mean, in a paternal sense, or as a sort of companion, and it's very touching, I think, and it just sort of grows. And I mean, we both, Tala and I, look after each other on set, and I'm substantially older, of course, and and there is a sort of paternal aspect, but she's such a capable person, Tala, and she brings so much to the role, and there's a natural respect, and of course it seeps into the characters. And so I'm so glad that you've connected with that, and that's something that you've seen growing, because that's what we've enjoyed. Yeah,
I mean, she's in an absolute fury when there's a point when, because of a test you're taking, you might not be in the job, and there's a fury in her. And when she's around you, you see her almost relax, and she starts to smile. So that is wonderful. It's really, really nice. Now, the cases are 3 only. Why only 3?
I think one of the reasons. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'd like to do loads. I mean, they are films, so they're they're 2 hours. So there's that, and also the writing is just is amazing. Paul Murphy. I mean, it's Robert Murphy. I mean, they are original pieces. They're original pieces of writing. They're not taken from books. They're not a kind of as many are. So he has to come up with all those very intricate puzzles, like inventing a puzzle every time you write something. So there's a lot of time that he takes to do that, to get it right. So we're happy that it's taken longer to write, but they're all they're also brilliantly crafted. So that's the reason. But we'll hopefully just keep going, because as I'm hearing from you, it's lovely the way the characters are developing, and there's so much more to find. So I'm sure we'll keep going.
And connecting to us, and I think that's important. I think that's how you get a long-lasting show. So kudos for that. Now, Bath is a gorgeous spot. I knew about the baths, but and I've been to Wells, but no, I wish I'd gone further. What a lovely spot. What a great place to shoot too. Endless backdrops. Yeah,
I mean, you have to fight for you're being upstaged a little bit by the railings sometimes. They're so ornate and beautiful, and the gargoyles and things. Can I not stand in front of that abbey, please? Could he just put me in front of some corrugated iron or something? I think no, there is the idea that Dodds does sort of disappear into the stone of it. If I wasn't wearing my stripes, and if I wore something white, I sort of disappear. And that's a little bit of that's deliberate in the way that Dodds is dressed. We always just go for the beige, because he disappears. It's like he disappears, and yet, misjudge him at your peril. You know what I mean? He's
exactly.
Much more. So and that's part of the whole thing. Bath itself is it is the most beautiful Georgian city in the UK. I mean, there are parts of other cities like Bristol, its neighbour, and maybe Nottingham an area of Nottingham that just comes to mind. But to have an intact Georgian city to film is a joy.
Wow.
And, and it adds the sort of puzzle element to it, I think.
Yes, indeed. So do you know yet if you're working on the 3rd season?
We are, we start filming in about 4 weeks time, 5 weeks time. At the end of August we start filming, 3 more episodes. So we're delighted. Who knows where we're going to go, what's going to happen.
Ooh,
I'm not going to tell you.
So exciting. Thank you so much, Jason. How nice to speak to you. I've seen you all along the way in all the shows you do over here.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Lovely to talk to you, Anne. Okay.
You as well.